And when I first saw this particular episode back in the early 90s, I didn't think anything about it. I mean, I like Captain Picard, you know, I mean, cool. I was on his side, right? And I saw nothing wrong with what he said. I didn't think about it. I was just watching the show like everybody else. But then, in light of what we're talking about, you know, because I was preparing this presentation and I TiVoed it and I happened to be on, so I watched the show. Okay, I like reruns, these kind of reruns. Anyway, as I watched it, you know, that clip jumped out at me and I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold it, what are you saying? What are you saying? Think about it. This crystalline entity, this giant conglomeration of silicon, is floating around the universe, and whenever it finds, now, why in the world a silicon-based life form would eat carbon-based life? Does that make sense? Seriously. Do we go around eating rocks? We're carbon-based. We have nothing to do with silicon, right? So the premise of that whole episode was stupid. But anyway, we've got the silicon-based life form that is eating all the carbon-based life on whatever planet it comes across, for whatever reason, okay? And it's killed thousands, if not millions, of people. And the woman's son was eaten by this crystalline entity, and she wants to kill it, kind of like a Moby Dick thing, right? She wants to kill the thing. And Captain Picard is like, what's wrong with you in my ready room for being so like racist here, okay? Why would you want to kill it? We want to talk to it. Now think about that. If this were a bear, let's say there was a really big grizzly bear or a species of bear that we never knew about before, okay? It was like a half polar bear, half pit bull, let's say something like that. Anyway, and it was so big and powerful that it literally ate everybody in the state of Montana, and then it went over to Idaho and ate everybody in Idaho, okay? So 2 states are down all their population. Would anybody think, let's talk to it? Would anybody think, let's communicate with it and maybe send it someplace where we can just feed it, just keep it alive, but let's not kill it because it's a living thing? Do you realize how stupid that is? And more than that, let's think about disease. Diseases are living things, man. Viruses are kind of alive. Bacteria are alive. Can you imagine, a bacterium? Let's say, for example, we have anthrax infection. These anthrax bacillus, they're alive. Do you? According to Picard, the cuttlefish has, it's just too bad the cuttlefish got ate by the sperm whale because the sperm whale was just minding his own business. And he was, right. And there's, when you're talking about whales and cuttlefish, they're not people. If we really believe that humans are no more value that are of no more value than an anthrax bacillus, a single bacterium, then we should never use antibiotics. We shouldn't use antifungals either. If you got a yeast infection, just scratch and bear it, because those are living organisms that are making you so uncomfortable. Don't kill them because they're just making a living on you, okay? And you happen to be its food, and that's okay because you both have equal right to live. Who said that you have more of a right to existence than the yeast? Why are you killing a living thing if it's of equal value with you? You can't live like that. That's just... you can't live your life like that. Either humans have intrinsically greater value or they do not. The New Agers say they don't. The New Agers put all life on the same pedestal. The Judeo-Christian perspective is that's not the case. The Judeo-Christian perspective is that man is significantly different. We're responsible, but our position to God makes us masters. Our fundamental position in the hierarchy of life forms on earth places us ahead of the other creatures. Some New Agers have a name for the earth. It's Gaia. Gaia is like our mother. Some New Agers even worship the earth. According to the Bible, this is exactly what God said don't do. Don't worship any other gods over him, even the earth. Yes, the earth is excellent, but it is not to be worshipped. And if you do worship the earth, as these New Agers are promoting, if you do that, you're going to get on God's bad side. Now, with regard to unification of man with God, since the New Age movement teaches that man is divine by nature, all people, once they see themselves as divine, they will be helped in their unity of purpose, love, and development. The goal is to fully realize our own goodness. Now, it's obvious that contradicts Scripture. That's obvious. Romans 3, for example, says, there is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God. All have turned away. They have together become worthless, and there is no one who does good, not even one. Now, this is a New Testament passage quoting an Old Testament passage. That is the Judeo-Christian perspective on the nature of man. We're not good. We're not that. We're selfish. Okay? We're not that good. We're selfish. We're sure not perfect. We need a lot of help. And we need to feel guilty about counterproductive, counterintuitive, destructive behaviors so that we can change and grow up and mature and do better. New Agers do believe that God is omnipresent. They believe that he is benevolent, but they also believe that he is impersonal. Either he is a conglomeration of all of us, that we all make him up, or if he's a separate entity, he doesn't care what you do. He doesn't follow your every act. He doesn't care. He's not there inside of you recording every single thought and action. He's an impersonal God that doesn't reveal himself, nor does he have any specific requirements as to morality, belief, or behavior. That is one of the reasons that reincarnation appeals so much to them. With it, there is no judgment, there is a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, and so forth. It should be noted that while the New Ager seeks to elevate himself to godhood, he has to lower the majesty and personhood of the true God. In other words, the universe isn't big enough for one true God, but it is big enough for a bunch of little ones. And this was mentioned earlier, but to reiterate, there are no moral absolutes in the New Age. It's all about moral relativism. Therefore, they claim to have tolerance for all truth systems. They call this harmonization. All truth systems except those which claim to be the only way, such as, you know the ones. Now, the obvious problem with that is that to say that there are no moral absolutes is itself a moral absolute. That's self-contradictory. Also, if all morality is relative, then sometimes it's okay to steal. Sometimes it's okay to cheat. Sometimes it's okay to commit adultery. Sometimes it's okay to commit murder, and so forth and so on. If we lived like that, living in a world of moral relativism would bring about chaos. It absolutely would not be a promising future. It would follow that if reality is relative and truth is too, then driving a car would be difficult. After all, if one New Ager sincerely believes that red should mean go, and the other believes that red means stop, when they collide at the intersection, their different realities will come crashing down on them. That is something most interesting about New Agers. They do not live what they believe. They can't. We can't live like that. Now, in their defense, the New Age movement does espouse some positive things. They espouse honesty, integrity, love, peace. These are all good things. I'm not against those things. Nobody in their right mind is against those things. It just wants to do it without the personal God that is described in the Judeo-Christian canon. The New Ager wants to do life on his own terms. It's about control. Do I want to live in a universe where I get to be God, I get to be part of God, if you will. I get to decide right, wrong, good, and bad. I get to decide whether I am overall a good person or a bad person. Or do I want to live in a universe where there is an alien God in charge of all things? A God that is perfect, a God that doesn't know sin, a God that is outside of the world that I know and am familiar with. If it's about want, then I think the New Ager should win if it's about want, because they present a world that is more conducive to the human mind. Okay? We want control. Now, the first question we want to know as babies is, am I loved? Am I worth love? The second is, how can I get my way? Their belief system is a lot more consistent with the second. Hey, the New Age philosophy appeals to my desires for control. But is this really a question about want? Because if God is a fantasy, if the spiritual world isn't real, it doesn't matter. And my contention is that this is not a question about what is attractive. This is a question about what is real. Is the God of the Bible real or not? If he's not, then you can do what you want. But if the God of the Bible is the God of the universe, then the New Age philosophers are doing more damage than good, and their practitioners are swimming in crocodile-infested waters. Thank you for joining me on this presentation on the New Age movement. I hope that you have found it enlightening.